Hi, thank you for viewing me today. This is Annette coming at you, and I wanted to talk to you about an update of my fasting, and it's going pretty good. I'm doing some fasting. It could be anywhere from 24, 48 to 72 hours, right? And what's the purpose of this? Well, actually, the purpose of it is to eliminate some inflammation in my body, and maybe lose a little water weight, and maybe even some fat loss. So, how am I doing it? Well, I'm not eating. And I'm consuming a little bit of fat, not much, because I am one of those fat phobic people. I'm still not on board with the total fat thing, but that's okay. That's okay. It's my dogma. It's my dogma. Through the course of my weight loss, of course, the dogma that was drilled into me in 2012. Fat is bad. Sugar is bad. Protein is 60 grams. And you need to exercise and move for at least 60 minutes a day. So I changed the whole paradigm in, I started to change it in 2014, right? Went vegan. I went pescatarian at one time. And I did what you call keto-like in 2011. But at that time, not too many people were on board with it or really knew the science behind it. But I knew all about it because it was for seizure disorders. And I knew about gluconeogenesis and the ketosis thing, right? Well, when I had my weight loss surgery, I went into ketosis because I really wasn't eating. I had a 24-hour, actually I went on a low-calorie diet in January of 2012. I had my surgery in September of 2012, which was the Lapband. And at that time, I was, by this, quote, scale guidelines to my height, because I'm a little shorty, 5'3". I used to be 5'4.5", somewhere around there, but I've shrunk through the years. I'm 57, and I used to be 5'4.5". Well, now I'm 5'2" or 5'2.5", 5'3", whoever measures me, depending upon if I'm standing straight up, and my back is straight. My back is straight. Of course, it'll never be straight because I have that lower cross syndrome, and I'm trying to correct that. Our bodies are all spines change with age, but you try to stand tall, put your shoulders back, chest out, but most people slouch. But, self-improvement. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just judging myself, right? I judge myself all the time. 2012, I really looked at myself and said, well, yeah, you're a fatty, and what are you going to do about it? Well, I had a hormonal shitstorm going on, actually, since I was about 30 some years. Can they give you any answers? Do they have any cures, these medical professionals, these doctors? Do they really have any cures? They'll give you a bunch of prescription medicines to cover up the symptoms. But when you ask them, well, doctor, how did I get my cancer? How did I get this? And they give you some vague answer like, well, it's environmental, it's genetic, and it's lifestyle, right? But here's some pills, and that'll help you. Okay. I know, I'm being a pessimist today, but I'm drinking my coffee, and I'm drinking my water. Reverse osmosis. That's what I drink. I'm not adding any more salt. No, I'm not adding more salt because my blood pressure is pretty stable. I take my blood pressure, watch my pulse ox, and I said I was going to do my ketones. I haven't used my ketones yet. I do have. I found the strips, but actually, I don't. I don't want to do my ketones, my blood ketones, because it's probably going to piss me off because I'm not in ketosis. Because my body hates to be in ketosis. It fights me all the way. Yeah, it does. But I haven't had any carbs, so to speak, other than the one, I guess if you can say, well, I had a Cosmopolitan alcohol beverage, one, when I was in New Jersey over the weekend, which was Saturday night. And I had some salmon. That doesn't have any carbs in it. I did have 4 carrots, so that has carbs and has sugars, right? But I didn't have anything else. And then the next morning I had some eggs and a couple pieces of bacon, which I don't really care for, but I did eat it. You know, I did have a piece of chicken on the way home. We stopped at this place for lunch because we left on Sunday morning. So it took us a couple hours to get home. So stopped at this place and this chicken looked really good. So I had like 3 bites of chicken for lunch and darn if it didn't get stuck. So I had to pull over twice to throw up. Yeah, I had to throw up. So it inflamed my body. Every time I throw up, well, I don't, well, kind of did throw up there. But it was kind of like a PB, you know, you throw up your gastric juices, you know. And probably everybody's wondering, well, why don't you get that thing out? Well, actually, I don't have any insurance. I tried to get it out through my Kaiser insurance in 2016 because they did unfill it because they found out, oh, gee, you have ulcers, because I kept complaining that I have indigestion and stuff like that. Well, I had a hernia before they put my Lapband in, but I never had any symptoms. My mom had one, believe it or not. So, so then I have this hernia back again, and I have probably reflux again, but no fluid in my band, but food still gets stuck. And what gets stuck? Well, it's usually chicken. Something that is very dense. I don't eat breads. So I eat a lot of like yogurt and soups and, you know, if I consume anything on this fast, it's going to be usually chicken broth or vegetable broth, and I don't really care for that bone broth. Turkey bone broth, the organic turkey bone broth, I don't like that. So I'm a very picky eater, and you know, since 2012, because I was a fatty and sort of like that's what food got into. Well, it was really because I was choosing the wrong type of food, of course, and I didn't exercise, right? So I changed all that, and you know, I stayed out of obesity and quote I was in tip-top shape until hurt my leg in 2016 in a race in a triathlon. Well, I didn't know I had a lymphatic disorder or a lymphatic issue. Well, come to find out, my mom has one and my dad had vein issues. And if you know about anything about chronic venous insufficiency, I did have issues with my legs after pregnancy. And my legs started hurting, I guess, when I was in my early 30s, but I kept telling the doctors and they kept saying, well, it's all in your head or everything seems to be okay. So here I am in my late 50s and I'm dealing with all these issues, hormonal disorders. I did go through a HRT supplement for about 1 year because I had like hot flushes during the night and I couldn't sleep. It kept waking me up. So I did go on them for about a year, but that was only for a year, and then I discontinued these, the HRT, so to speak. So yeah, I mean, hormonal disorders are a big issue, especially if you're trying to lose weight. And then when I was in triathlon, I went to this chiropractor, and I had my well, I did have my BMR tested. My BMR is way under 1,000, and that's your basal metabolic rate. And each time you do some kind of diet or whatever, you ruin your metabolism. It keeps on going lower and lower and lower and lower. So mine's just ruined. Mine has been ruined, gosh, probably since in my late 20s, my late 20s, because I maintained a weight when I was 20 something. I used to do this thing. I would never allow myself, say when I was 19, I would never allow myself to get over 119 pounds. Then when I was 20, I let myself go to 120 pounds. When I was 25, I weighed, I got pregnant, and I was between 125 and 130. And that was my range. So through the years, it's gone up. And I just weighed myself. When I fast, I lose about ½ a pound a day. But once I go back to regular eating, I don't lose any weight. So when I went to the New Jersey and I got off the diet, I gained back 3 pounds. So I lost 4 pounds. So so now I'm back down, losing ½ a pound a day. So I don't plan on going anywhere, doing any traveling. We're going to go to South Carolina. I'm going to run the Diva Marathon, half marathon, the first week in May, and that's never an eating frenzy. And my husband will do some eating, but not me. Then I do have a race in April, the all women's race, but it's only I think it's either a 10K or 15K, something like that. So that's nothing. Usually you can walk, run it. You don't have to jog the whole way. I mean, people don't even jog the whole way on a half marathon. You can get through the half marathon and just, jog a minute and walk a minute, jog a minute, walk a minute. My husband, he can walk as fast as I can run because his legs are so long. Oh, he did get his lab test results. He had his physical because he hasn't had a physical in, I don't know, in like 3 years or whatever, because he just doesn't go to the doctors, right? He's another one. So his sugar is high. He does have a high sugar, and the doctor told him, well, if you don't take your cholesterol medicine, you're going to have a stroke, and if you don't, you're pre-diabetic, and if you don't lower your sugar, you're going to wind up having a stroke. So I think it scared him a little bit, but like I said, I've been toeing the line, watching my body, paying attention to my health since 2012. Am I perfect? No, I'm not perfect. Do I look like a perfect person? No, I don't look like a perfect person. But at least I'm 57 and I don't take any medications. And I deal with whatever I have to deal with. So now I'm fasting, yeah. But I do look like I've lost some inflammation in my face. I do feel lighter. Now, it's snowing out, it's sleet and rain, so I can't go out and train. I need to start training out on the pavement for my races coming up. So I'm kind of have to stop fasting because you can't do hard exercise when you're fasting unless you want to keel over and send your body to the hospital, and I don't want to go there. So I have to stop fasting and start training. So, and then, which I've learned in the past, if I don't eat when I exercise, I increase inflammation in my body that way. My body just likes to build up inflammation no matter what I do. I don't know. So at least if I exercise, I have to bring my calories up, and I can't go without food with exercising. So if I'm going to go out and run 3 to 6 miles, I sure can't be doing it on a fasting diet. Fasting with no food in my system. So I'm going to have to start eating again. But is it hard? Yeah, it's hard mentally. It's hard mentally, but stomach-wise, I don't even get hungry. I don't even get hungry because I'm used to it, right? I've been doing this, some kind of body hack since 2012. So my brain, sometimes it plays games with me, but I'm a pretty strong person. I'm very strong as far as dealing with crap. Yeah, I'm pretty strong. I'm trying it. I'm trying to do the best that I can do to get this inflammation off my body so I can train appropriately so my legs won't feel so darn heavy. And I know all these gurus, they all have their own recipe on how they think you should do it. And I went to a lot of them, and I paid a lot of money. And I wasted a lot of money on gurus. But medical doctors, trainers, so-called experts, they're not an expert with my body because I'm unique and I'm not like anybody else. And I've been trying to figure my body out since 2012, right? But I do feel that I'm losing inflammation, and I feel like I'm leaning out, definitely. I mean, you can actually see it in my neck. The only problem is that when you lean out and you start to wrinkle up, stuff like that. So anyway, I think I've rattled on too long. It's already almost 18 minutes. So anyway, thank you for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.